Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us today to watch our presentation that we're calling EDDM by the numbers. EDDM stands for Every Door Direct Mail. And my name is Josh. I am a marketer by trade. I run an agency called XTRACT Media. And I'm joined here with Steve Leary of American Business Forms and Envelopes. We've been working together. Literally, he's been kind of one of my very first people that I worked with when I first started my company, probably close to 10 years ago, which is pretty crazy. But we've been working together for the last few months on providing a ton of extra value for the different niches that Steve services within his print company called American Business Forms. Obviously, within that, HVAC is one of those industries that he has served regularly. And one of the things my team and I do is we put together these really cool marketing playbooks and these really cool things. Anytime we see a big opportunity that one of his niches, like HVAC, plumbers, different things like that, could take advantage of, but aren't, so that they can grow their businesses utilizing print marketing. And so what we're going to walk you through today is exactly how EDDM, or Every Door Direct Mail, works for HVAC providers. We're going to walk you through how to use the tool on the United States Postal Service website, how to identify what to actually put on your mailers, and how to identify and order the mailers that you need to, and showing you a ton of really cool examples and whatnot. So first and foremost, Steve, good to see you today.
Hey, thanks, Josh. Thanks for everybody for joining this morning or this afternoon, whatever time it is on your time zone there. My name's Steve Leary. I'm the owner of American Business Forms. I started in the print business, believe it or not, 1989 with this company, and ended up buying the company in 2003. So we've been operating here for about 21 years. I stayed at the company for 6 years, from 89 to 95. And then left, did some other things, and then came back, bought the company. My brother and I run it. He runs customer service. I run sales, marketing, and accounting here. But we work a lot with a lot of HVAC contractors, plumbing contractors, electrical contractors. And Josh and I are going to talk about EDDMs today. Kind of a really neat way to get new customers. We're in a lot of other industries as well: refuse haulers, fuel dealers, propane distributors. But what I love about HVAC, if you think about a propane dealer, he's only looking for people that are selling propane or have a pool and need propane for their pool. But pest control, and again, another great industry, but not everybody needs pest control. Not everybody has ant problems or bat problems or whatever it would be. What I love about HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, all three of those industries together, is everybody needs it. Everybody has an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, or at least has an air handler in their house. And we're going to talk about some marketing ideas on how to get some new customers. And what I love about it is with the HVAC system, or with HVAC people, is you guys everyone you mail to, every time you send a piece of mail out, that's a prospective customer, where a lot of times in the other industries, it's not a prospective customer.
Well, we hope in the United States everybody either has a heater or a furnace or air conditioning in their house. We hope.
Correct.
So that's pretty awesome. And one of the cool things, so EDDM stands for Every Door Direct Mail. And long story short is you get to pick mail routes and things like that, and send mail pieces to pretty much every door, not pretty much, to every door on those mail routes. So the crazy part is, or the really cool part is, every single one of those doors could be a potential customer of yours or one of your competitors. So we're going to try and show you how to make sure that they choose you guys as opposed to some of your competitors when there is an issue, and that's through creating a brand and through doing different things.
Yeah, I'd like to, Josh, just kind of, I'll tell a story about my wife. When I told my wife, I showed a video that we did on EDDM. She knew what it was, but just to start, what is EDDM? It's basically sending a postcard out to your customers. It's usually two-sided. It can be many different sizes, but it's sending a postcard to a prospective client without a couple things, without having a list. A lot of times, you're like, wow, I'd love to blanket that neighborhood over there. I was just there. There's some really nice homes in that neighborhood. Or I know that neighborhood, and most of those homes are over 20 years old. They're probably going to need HVAC units. or new units. But you don't want to buy the list. You don't know where to buy the list. And then the last thing I think you always think of is how expensive postage is. Postage just went up to 68 cents. I just saw something, we're going to 71 cents. So you got to go buy a list. You got to go find a printer like myself. And then you got to get that list to me, and then you got to pay a lot of postage to get that out the door. Now, if you do have a list and you want us to do that, we do that as well. But it's just expensive. What's neat about sending a postcard that we print for you through the post office is the postage isn't 68 cents, it's 20.3 cents. So less than a third of what you would spend on a regular postcard mailing. And as Josh was saying, we're going to show you how to go on the US Postal website and actually drill down and blanket an actual zip code and then a sub zip code or a category and go to an exact neighborhood. You could actually find your actual house on the postal website, and then you could blanket out just your neighborhood and the other neighborhoods that are around your neighborhood, and you can do it all for 20.3 cents. And you don't need a list, and it's not a whole lot of work, and it's a great way to just get out there and do a lot of marketing. This one right here, I just showed you, is one we did for a company. It's 6 inches. The height is 6 inches. The width is 11. Here's another one we just did for another customer as well. Sell information on the front and the back. But I'm going to let Josh take over and continue our call here.
Yeah, so really quick, if you're seeing a PDF document in front of you on this video, and this PDF document is actually a playbook that we created that you can download. If you're live on this webinar with us, you probably already received a link to download that directly on the email that we sent to you. If you're on the landing page, there should be a form below this video where you can enter your information and get access to this PDF and go through it as we walk through. So I think we should probably just dive in and kind of start walking through what's inside of this tool so people can understand. And what we're going to do today is actually walk you through exactly how to put an order in, exactly how to design the cards, and some different examples of stuff you can do. So in this video, what you're going to learn is understanding EDDM, what it is and how it works, how to nail down your avatar or your target customer and your offer, how to structure your mailer, how to target different local neighborhoods and demographics. And then we're going to walk you through a calculator, which is what the EDDM by the numbers looks at. So we're actually going to show you the metrics and the return on investment potential that this strategy has for your marketing systems. Finally, how to quickly launch a quote funnel and or landing page to drive traffic. As you can see on this slide, there's a really cool QR code that you can scan, which is something that we recommend for any EDDM card that would take them to your website or a funnel or something like that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. That's actually what I do. And then how to quickly execute an EDDM strategy so you can get started today. Understanding EDDM. Steve, you want to just give us a quick overview, which I know that you already did, but you want to just give us a quick overview of what EDDM is and how it works, aside from what you've already said, which I realize you already said it.
Yeah, so basically, after we print the postcard, if you're local to Maryland, we can drop them off to the post office for you. But most of our customers all across the United States will go on the postal website and actually search for a zip code or an area that you want to be in. So you're on the postal website, you search for that zip code. Once you get to that zip code, there's usually zones. There might be 15 zones in one zip code. So let's say the zip code is 21224. There's 15 zones, usually in a zip code. If you figure there's about 700 to 800 customers in each zone or prospective customers in each zone, you could choose all those zones in that zip code, or you could just see the zones that you want to choose on. We always recommend, if you want to blanket a neighborhood, let's not bombard you with phone calls coming in. So maybe take 3 or 4 of those zones. Let's say there's 700 addresses a piece. If you do 3 or 4 of them, 4 times 700 is 2,800. We print 3,000 cards for you. The cards get to your office. You guys drop them off at the local post office, and then that card goes exactly to those zones. So when you have, when you open your mail tonight, I always recommend this. Take a look at your mailbox, and on the outside of the postcard, it says local postal company. you'll see that on the actual postcard in your mailbox, and it says pre-sort standard EDDM retail. If you see that, that means the customer that's sending that to you, or the company that's sending that to you, is using EDDM.
Awesome, thanks. So the benefits of EDDM, as we've talked about, are number one, targeted marketing, and allows you to target very specific neighborhoods, and you can actually see what a lot of their income potential is and where a lot of those neighborhoods are if you don't already know that. It's super affordable, meaning that instead of paying 71 to 75 or 68 to 71 cents per door that you hit, or in marketing terms, we would say per impression, you're only going to pay about 20 to 21 cents, and you know that those people are targets for what you need. Simplicity, it's really straightforward and simple. You just order print cards and you drop them off at the post office and put in an order with them, and we'll walk you through how to do that today. It's very visible, right? Like when you receive your mail in the mail every week, you get these cards and you see them. Every single person sees them, and the cool part is, when you receive that, a lot of people might just throw it in the trash, but some people that it's very relevant for, like you receive the card and you know that you're running into issues with your air conditioner, or you know that you need a checkup on your furnace, or things aren't working right. When you hit somebody at the right time with the right message, you're going to get in front of them. It's very flexible as well. As Steve was saying, you can send anything from the 6.5 by 6.5 by 8.5 or anything like that, all the way up to an 8.5 by 11. And so the size of the advertisement doesn't matter. And then you can actually measure your results. So again, the reason that we use QR codes and websites and phone numbers is you can track exactly how many customers this creates for you. So you can know and understand the benefits and the results that you're receiving with your EDDM. So what we're going to do next is I'm actually going to walk you through these 6 steps. So step 1 is to go to the EDDM website on the US Postal Service, and I'm actually going to walk you through that in 2 seconds. And then we're going to refine the search by zip code or city. And remember, you can download this guide directly on this page, or you should have already received it. Step 3 is choosing your routes. And so you know your local market better than almost anybody. And so if you know your local market and you know the neighborhoods that you consistently serve, you can choose those neighborhoods. And I'm going to show that to you. Step 4 is review your investment and check out on the USPS website. And step 5 is to order and deliver and design the postcards, which is something that Steve and his company do for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I already have the website pulled up. So eddm.usps.com, or if you just go to Google and type in USPS EDDM, you'll get this tool that pulls up. And so step 1, it says search for routes. So Steve, guide me through this, if you will. Let's say I am in, I don't know, choose a city. What city should I choose?
Let's do Baltimore, because we're in Baltimore here. So let's do 21231,
So
which
we
is
enter in the
Baltimore
zip
City.
code for
Yep.
21231 and hit search. And what this is going to pull up is it's going to pull up a map. I actually used to live right over here. So we've done this before. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it's going to give us this really cool little map of that zip code. It's not showing me any other zip codes because that's the one that I typed in. And as my mouse hovers, you can see each one is a different mail route. And what you can see as well is as I'm doing this, you can see how many residential, how many business, the total, the age demographics of the different people that are in that zip code, the size, the income, and the cost. So as you can see, let's say we were to choose
We'll do this real
this
quick,
route right
Josh.
here.
Click
Yep.
click real quick on table in the top right-hand corner. So go from map to table. Yep.
Okay.
And now everyone, we see all of the zones. So we started with the zip code of 21231, and now there's all these zones. So the first zone, if you scroll all the way up, is zone 4, C004, and you'll see that there's 662 residences,
That's
and
this one
there's,
right here.
yep, and then there's 35 businesses, a total of 698. The average, the age group, Josh had chosen 25 through 65. So now it's showing us 61% of the people are in that age group. And then it even shows you the income for that group too. And the income, maybe it's a lower income, $31,000 a year. and then the cost of those postcards, which is $141. So now that you know, if you want to send an EDDM to those 662 people, we need to print 662 EDDM cards, and we can blanket that neighborhood.
And knowing where that neighborhood is probably one of the not greatest neighborhoods in Baltimore. So that was just happened to be the first one we chose. This is actually one of the reasons that I mentioned that it's so flexible, is because if I don't choose that neighborhood and I come over here in where I know is an extremely affluent neighborhood, watch the difference. And so the one that I just chose is here. So 77% and the average income is 75,000 instead of the 38,000.
Yep.
And so if you know who your target customers are and they're more affluent and they can afford to fix things and they're not going to haggle you on price, you can focus on the higher income neighborhoods. And this is one of the only places that you can actually get this data. Like if you look at this route 21231 C025, the average income is 101,000. And so again, if I go back to the map, that's this area. That's where Steve lived. No, I'm just kidding. So you come here and let's say I choose this route, which has 596 total pieces. What that means is I'm going to have to order 596 mail pieces. And then let's say I choose this route and this route. What's going to happen is it's going to add up to being a total. But the reason that we would want to just choose one zip code is because that's one post office, right? So here's the way you have to look at it. When you put in this order, you're going to have to order print cards, whether you do it through American Business Forms or somebody else. We hope that you'll do it through us because we provided so much value to you. But when you order these postcards, they're going to come in little packs of 100, and somebody has to take them to that post office. And so it's better to just have to take them to one, or you have to take them to multiple post offices, but you have to take it to the post office that serves the neighborhood that you're choosing. Is that correct,
And then
Steve?
yep, and really neat, everyone. Just take a look at the order summary on the right. So Josh has 7 routes selected now. All of those go to one post office because it says post office drop-offs, one, so they're all going to the same post office. And the total number of mailing pieces is 4,875 now. So we know we're going to have to print about 5,000 cards. And then what's the postage cost? $989. So roughly a little less than 1,000, but that's 20.3 cents times the 48.75. So that's where they're getting that. And then you can go to, Josh can click on next step, and you can actually check out on the US Postal Service to buy all that postage right here. And you can do all the paperwork. I do recommend this. And if you do EDDM and you want to help us to help you with EDDM, I always recommend doing it in your office. And let me tell you why. Can you imagine going in with, let's say 5,000 would be 3 boxes of postcards. You have 3 boxes of postcards and you're standing in line at the post office. And now you're going to have to pay for all these and tie everybody's time up as well as your time. So I always recommend pay for it prior to getting there. That way it's just a lot easier. Once you get there, you hand them all the slips, you hand them all the boxes, you hand them all the paperwork, and then they process everything when you come in. It's actually a QR code. So once you print it out, it's just a QR code. You walk up to the post office and say, I have an EDDM drop off, and they scan the barcode on your receipt, and then it automatically tells them where they're going and everything else. And it's a lot easier to check out once you're at the post office.
On this drop-off date, is that just an estimate, or do we have to be exact on the drop-off date?
You don't have to be exact. You can't drop off the same day. You have to drop off the next day. And there is one other caveat. You can only drop off 5,000 a day per post office. They don't want to bombard the post office. So if you want to do 2 or 3 mailings, do one mailing of 5,000, and then you can drop off the next mailing of 5,000 the next day, depending how many you want to do. And remember, your phone's going to ring too. And you don't really want to bombard yourself with too many phone calls, so that you can handle all the calls and your text can go out and maybe give estimates and everything else. So we always recommend 5,000 is a good number. I think the post office is limiting that number, but I think it's a good number too, as far as.
And as you can see, they actually won't let your order exceed 5,000 right here.
That's exactly
so
right.
One of your best bets is to send about 4, I would say send about 4,000 to 5,000 on every mailing that you do. And then make sure you're reaching out to these people on peak seasons, right? Like beginning of the summer, end of the summer going into the winter when they're going to need to do their furnace things, or beginning of the summer when they're going to need to do their air conditioning issues, or on those really, really hot summer days when air conditioning isn't working and they're just sick and tired of it. Those are some of the best times to get it out there. So, considering the first step is getting some cards ordered and actually receiving them, that's probably what you should do, and order anywhere from 5 to 10,000 cards. And then you can come in here and you can drop off cards and do routes as you please. And usually after somebody drops them off, how long is it going to take for them to actually hit the mailboxes, Steve?
The post office is good in some places, bad in others. Up by my house, they're good. Down in the city, they're a little bit slower. But I would recommend that you're probably looking at 7 to 10 days to get out the door. It might be less than that, but 7 to 10. And just to draw back on that, great question, Josh. So what is that postman going to do? So when he's on his route, he's going to take that postcard or whatever postcard that you print, and he's going to stick it in every door on that route. And that's why we bundle them in 100s for you. That's what the post office recommends. We're already going to strap them in 500s for you, is what they're asking us for. And then every time he drops a mail to any house, every house in that route is going to get a postcard. See, he's going to have an EDDM day where he's just going to stuff that in with all the newspapers and all the other mail, and then the customer's going to get that. So that's kind of how it's going to work. So I would say 7 to 10 days at the latest. I don't think it's ever going to be any more than that.
Okay, perfect. So this right here is a slide that I created that shows you how to structure the mailer and how to actually like what types of information should be on an EDDM card. And Steve's already shown you a few examples. One of the really cool parts about American Business Forms is that they have tons of templates and designs on their website that you can go and check out. And you can just say, hey, Steve, it's kind of like ordering. I laughed the other day when we were talking. I'm like, it's kind of like ordering from a Chinese restaurant. You can just go there and say, hey, I want number 33. Even though they speak perfect English, they'll know what that means. And number 33 is a number on his website, and you can see exactly the thing. But these are the main things that I always want to include. Number one is calling out your strategic, unique avatar, understanding who the mailer is speaking to. That's the core of almost any marketing campaign. And of course, in HVAC, it's pretty simple. It's like somebody who wants to stay cool and cozy all summer long. A family, showing a photo of a family, a mother and a father and their kids, to make sure that you're reaching out to families and people that actually care about that kind of thing. A headline. So what's the offer? The offer here is stay cool and cozy all summer long. A subheadline. Where is that one?
3. Stand up.
Comfort, safety, savings. We've got you covered. 4 is benefits. So a 3 to 5 bullet benefits of the offer. You can see that directly underneath there. 5, conversion. Do you want them to call? Do you want them to fill out a web form? What do you want them to do? So there's the call today, there's the website, and that's actually where we recommend, this is an older card, but where we recommend including a QR code as well. Ever since COVID came out, QR codes became way more prevalent. And it was funny because I remember telling Steve in 2016 that QR codes were the bee's knees, and he didn't believe me. He's like, nobody's ever going to use that thing. It wasn't even native on the iPhone yet, but now everybody knows how to use QR codes because we've all had to go to those restaurants and scan the menu to be able to read them, because they couldn't give us paper menus because they were worried they'd get everyone sick. But at least we could go to restaurants, so that was nice. Also including any reviews or testimonials that you have, which in the past when we've ordered print from Steve, he just goes a lot of times to the Google reviews or pulls them off of Facebook or wherever your customers are currently reviewing you. And then number 8 is impulse factor. So any type of urgency that you can get somebody to do, like, hey, special time, short offer. This is available for our first 10 customers. That's fear of loss. Jones effect is saying Jones effect is a really effective one, because one thing that we've seen a lot of people do with great success, especially in the pest control company, but also in these areas, if they see your trucks driving around in a neighborhood, if you service one neighborhood specifically, sending these cards and saying, we are the number one provider in your neighborhood, only if it's true, of course, but we are the number one provider in your neighborhood for HVAC services. We've helped your neighbors. We'd love to help you too. Is a really, really important thing.
Yeah,
Anything to add there?
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry,
I
Josh.
was just saying, anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Google reviews. If you're Angie List preferred, if you're Better Business Bureau approved, if your Google ratings 4.6, I always say let the customer know. Let's get it on this piece here. We used a picture of a family here on a lot of these. This is a plumbing company we just did. We used their logo, but we also used a picture of their actual truck. This one, Oriole. We used a picture of their actual truck. That's what they see in the field, guys. And it's not hard. Everyone probably has a smartphone, either Apple or Android. Your smartphone's 600 DPI, so you can just go out, take a picture, snap a picture of a clean truck in your yard, and let's get that right on the card too. So I mean, that's what they're seeing out in the field. It's a great way to put the truck right on the card, whether it's on the front or the back. But that's a great eye too. So Angie's List, Better Business Bureau, Google ratings, and maybe a picture of your card. If you have a big staff and you're proud of that, and you want to put that on there, maybe the whole staff. We've done that before too. I have the whole staff stand in front of the truck or in one of the trucks, and I think we had that with one of the other cards we showed earlier. Take a picture of that, send it to us, and then we just start developing it with you. You let us know what you like, what kind of offers you like, and then we have an art department here that puts it all together for you. We do as many proofs as you need. Josh didn't mention, but we do the artwork for free and help you out with that. And then we get it all the way to final proof. Once you sign off on it, we put it on the press, print it out, and get it out to you.
Yeah, sorry, I totally should have mentioned that. I meant to, I kind of sprinkled in at the very beginning. They do all this for you, right? So they do free design services and they'll do the entire card and help you figure out the offers and all of that. If you scan the QR and either connect QR code and connect with them or go to ameribusforms.com and put in an order, they'll for sure help you out with all this. So don't be overwhelmed with the design of this. A couple things that I also wanted you to notice there are the $69 AC system tune-up, so a front-end offer that will get you in the door there, a free service call with the repair, and $150 off a new system installation. People want to feel like they're getting a good deal. They want to feel like they're calling, and they'll call you up and say, "Hey, I noticed you do the $150 off new system." And so putting those deals or offers on that card, the one that you were just showing me had the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Um, so you'll see the three offers, and one of them's for like a tune-up, one of them's for a service
Yeah.
call, and one of them's for a full
Here's
new.
one we just did was $50 off any repair, $100 off a water heater replacement, and then a free assessment. So kind of the same
Yep.
thing. Three offers, and hopefully within those three offers, you grab that client's you grab their eye.
Yep. And so this slide was all about impulse factors. I just kind of covered that. But again, creating a sense of urgency, creating social proof through the Jones effect, creating some sort of scarcity, exclusive offer for the first 50 respondents or something of that nature, and indifference showing that you don't, you're not trying to give them the hard sale. You just want to help them. We also put in here an ideal customer worksheet. Use this worksheet to brainstorm different potential customer avatars. Customer avatar is a word, again, we use in marketing, and it just describes your ideal client or your ideal customer. If you can identify who your ideal customer is, the problem that they're experiencing, it'll help you create the offer. That's kind of the order that I take people through in my marketing systems. So let's say, for example, the ideal customer description is a family that's been living in their home for 5 to 10 years. They have a problem that they're not sure, or they know that they need to maintain their AC system and they haven't done it in a really long time, and they know it, but it always ends up being number 7 or 8 on their to-do list. And that's where the $69 AC system tune-up and maintenance plan comes in, because they'll see that and be like, oh crap, yeah, I do need to do that. And really, it's just a reminder. Your ideal customer might be somebody else that is running into an emergency situation, and this is where frequency is so important. Because their problem is that it's way too hot in their house. They're dealing with Baltimore summers. It's 100 to 110 degrees and humid and gross. And like their stuff just isn't working the right way. And so this is when I say frequency, this is the reason it's really important to be sending one of these a month, or sending them once every 2 weeks, or at those very like peak times, right before it gets hot out, or right before it gets cold out, right before a storm, all of those things. So this will help you kind of work out and decide who you're sending your EDDM cards to. EDDM headlines and subheadline framework. This again is going to help you identify what to actually put on the cards. the headline is going to be. So developing a compelling headline is crucial for capturing the attention of your target ideal customer and making them want to learn more about your offer. That's almost the first step. You have to catch somebody's attention before they're even willing to read any more of the card. A good headline should be clear, concise, and directly address the needs or desires of your ideal customer, and also evoke curiosity and or emotion to compel them to take action. So identify their core desire, highlight the benefit, so hassle-free HVAC maintenance, create urgency or curiosity, and keep it simple and specific. And again, this is something Steve and they'll help you identify when you guys go to order the cards that you need. So here's an example. Experience a hassle-free HVAC installation. Steer clear of typical HVAC system installation mistakes and ensure your ideal indoor environment. Sign up today by scanning the link on this card. That's a great headline. So this is a checklist for you to write out what some of your potential headlines before you put in your card orders, just to brainstorm thing and then choose one of them to test out. But at the end of the day, we've done this so many times, right? Steve, you've done probably thousands of different HVAC cards at this point.
Yeah,
Again,
we have a
if you,
lot of, I think there's 5 pages of, there's 5 across times 4. So over 100 templates on our website. And when you get to our website, if you like template number 4 on the front and you like number 18 on the back, just tell us that. Kind of gives us a good starting area that we can go to. One thing when Josh, you were talking a minute ago, if you're an HVAC dealer and you don't do commercial, you just do residential, on the postal website, you can just choose residential. So if you want to just choose residential, it'll actually be a lesser number in each of those zones. So you can just choose that too. But we have all the templates on our website. Take a look at our website. We'll give you that link later. And that gives a great starting point where you can see someone else's and say, oh, wow. And I got to tell you, a lot of people don't create their own. A lot of people say, I love number 14 on the front and I love number 18 on the back, but I don't want to do a 99 special. I want to do a 149 special. And they just change the numbers up a little bit. And that's kind of a great way to get started. And then we get some proofing done for you.
Awesome. And so the next page on this document was all about brainstorming the bullets that you put on that card, giving you some examples and things like that. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time here because this is just the features and benefits of your offer or of what you guys do, kind of your core competencies and why somebody would call you right now. Experience hassle-free HVAC installation. Maximize your savings with our expert strategies. Steer clear of typical HVAC mistakes. Receive customized guidance. And so that'll give you some different bullet brainstorming thing. Your EDDM marketing funnel, this is very important. And this is something I talk about all the time. The big question that you have to ask that Steve's going to need to know is, what action do you want somebody taking when they fill or when they convert from the card? What is the thing that you want them to do when they receive it? Do you want them to give you a phone call? Do you want them to go to the website? Do you want them to follow you and send you a DM on social media? Do you want them to register for some kind of HVAC event or HVAC maintenance event that's not super relevant here? Do you want them to go to your website to schedule a call or schedule a maintenance visit if you have an online calendar? Do you want them to fill out a point of sale or a website application? Or do you want them to be able to send you, if you're super advanced, an SMS keyword like when you see text saved 55555 to get the discount? That's something that we see not super frequently, but it works really well because people just have to text a phone number and then they get the thing. There is a cool website that I always drive people to called Rebrandly that allows you to create your own QR codes, and it's free. At least the free version, it has a brand thing on there, but you can create your own QR codes for free and change the landing pages and do things like that. And the QR code can either be a phone call thing, so I scan the QR code and the phone number pops up on my phone, or it can be a website. So training on how to do that is beyond what we're talking about here today, but Rebrandly is a great QR code website if you're looking for one. And then usually you want to direct it to your website or a landing page or your CRM. And if you need any of those things, that's actually what I do. And so reach out to me at Josh Jurkovich on Instagram and we can talk to you there. But most importantly here, we're looking at getting you into the marketing and the advertising, getting your message in front of people space. So generally, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have an EDDM card that has a QR code on it, and that QR code is going to take them to a landing page that exists somewhere, with a name, email address, phone number, whatever fields you want on that form. And generally, that's going to take them to the delivery mechanism. However, you actually give them the thing. Let's say they fill out that form and you want somebody on your team or an admin on your team or yourself to receive a message that somebody just filled out that form, so you can call them multiple times to try and schedule that appointment. You need to make sure you have this somewhat thought out.
And just a
So
note, Josh, so if you have a landing page already, if you have a website where it's fill out this information, we can actually make that QR code point right to your website that you already have. And that customer is
yep.
just going to fill out that information. You're going to get a notice from your website saying, hey, Steve and Josh just filled out some information looking for an HVAC or looking for some HVAC service. So it's pretty easy, or we can do it separately. But if it's not very complicated, and we do all that, we can do all that for you too.
Yep. And just because we practice what we preach, right here on the next slide inside of this PDF, it'll take you right to our EDDM card page. And so you can see all of the cards where you say, hey, we want number 5 or number 1 or number 1 in EDDM fuel. And you can see all of the different cards that we've used in the past. So that's one thing. And then you can also click here or just give them a call at 1-800-519-3691 to get these cards ordered. And again, we usually recommend about a 5,000 to 10,000 card order at first, regardless of how many doors you're going to hit, because you might as well have them for the next time that you're going to do it, as long as the offer is still accurate. So give them a call, or I believe they can also email you, right, at sales@ameribusforms.com.
Yep, you can give us a call to contact us. That's the easiest way, or shoot us an email and say, hey, I'm interested. I'd like to talk to us at a certain time or a certain day. And we could certainly give you a call back then and kind of walk you through. I'll just note, Josh, this is Stephen Vines. He's a great customer. He's been a customer for a long time. He's been doing these cards. Here's an actual EDDM. This is the front and the back. I remember having the first conversation with Steve, same name as me, so easy to relate to. But I said, hey, do you have your trucks? He said, yeah, we just got some new ones. I said, I'd be honest with you, I would park them right out front of your building if you want, and take a picture of them and send it to me. So he did exactly that. He took a picture of them, and then we started on it. He wanted to do the maintenance special, $89. And then some of the things you have there, as you see, we didn't mention it earlier, Josh, but look at all the Visa, MasterCard. I think that's important. I know a lot of our HVAC guys on this one has, I think it's 18 months free financing available, or 18 months financing. It doesn't have to be free, but let the client know. And I think that's important. I'll just let you all know, I just purchased a new HVAC system for our house. And one of the big things, we had Lowe's come out. We had some of my clients come out as well and give my wife an estimate. She's in charge of the house. But I got to tell you this. The most important thing to us was that they had some type of financing, that, I didn't have to stroke a check for 30-some thousand dollars for, 3 units to go into our house. That was important to us. So, I mean, we kind of segregated the people that way, like, hey, who has financing, who doesn't have financing? And then more important, if they have it, who has free financing? That was certainly a predominant thing. But you see, Steve here put his Facebook page and some other stuff on there. If you have Google, if you have Angie's List, if you have Better Business Bureaus, kind of things there. So the left-hand side is the sell information, and then the right-hand side, you do have to have that local postal company customer on the bottom right, and then the other piece on the bottom, on the top right, and that's how it gets to your customers.
Perfect. So let's go over EDDM by the numbers. This is one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. And so we created a really cool calculator on our website. If I can pull it up. Right here. And so this is called EDDM by the numbers. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you guys a return on investment calculator. And so I had first created this as a spreadsheet, but the spreadsheet was kind of clunky and it was hard to figure out. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you guys real numbers and show you exactly how much return on investment you would get from something like this. So let's make a couple of assumptions here. Right? Let's assume at first you're going to do the maximum amount. You're going to do 5,000 pieces. And your conversion rate, let's be so Steve, on average, let's say I send 1,000 or 100 cards. Is it like, or 1,000 cards? How many people do you see, like, or what conversion rates do you typically see?
I
Meaning
try to
how
be
many?
as transparent as possible. I always say let's shoot for 1%. I know a lot of people say they get better than that, but I think let's start with the bare minimum. Let's keep the numbers as low as we can. So 1%, I think is a good number. You might be getting higher than that, and then let's walk through close ratios and all that, Josh.
Okay. Yep. So let's say you only convert 1%. So that means 1 out of every 100 cards that you send is going to convert. And let's say out of that, you close, and of course, I'm sure your closing rate is higher than the average, but I want to make sure that we're being very conservative in these numbers. And let's say you close 25% of them into a new system or a new offer. And estimated commission per closing, this is actually just your estimated profit per customer, or lifetime value, if you will. And Steve, do you have any idea how much that might be for HVAC? Like, do they make like
If you're
$1,000 on
doing
average?
a full system, you're 6 to 7 thousand. I don't know profit on that. Let's say it's 1,200, but I would think somewhere around $1,000 would be your. If you were installing a new unit, if it was just service, it would probably be around 4 to 500. So somewhere between 4 to 500 up to 12 to $1,300. So
Yeah, and we want to keep in mind here too that some of them might just be the $89 conversion. Some of them might be the 6,000 or the 7,000. So what we want to look at here is an average and also the value of being the person that's maintaining their system so that when there is an issue, you're the person that they choose. But let's just say it's $1,000 and we're going to click this calculate button. So on average, the USPS cost, which we just saw, is going to be 20.3% per mailing, around there. So for 5,000 cards, you're going to pay $1,000, and that $1,000 fee goes directly to the post office. So that's not something that we do. It's not something that you pay Steve for and then he pays the post office. That's something that you do a transaction with the post office and you pay that to them. On average, and this might be a little bit more or less depending on where you're located, but the estimated printing cost to actually get those 5,000 cards is going to be about $600. So is that pretty
that
close?
and that includes design. That also includes shipping. It's actually
Yep.
5,900 for 5,000 cards. We have different sizes, but Josh is right on point here. For 5,000 cards, 6 by 11, it's actually $595, so $5 less than what he has here. So $600. That includes shipping. That includes all the artwork. So total investment. I'll let you keep going here, Josh.
Yep. So the total investment there would be those two numbers added together. So you'd spend about $1,600 on per campaign or per mailer. If you're doing 2 of these a month, you might be spending $3,200 or whatever it was. But either way, at that 1% conversion, and let's just say it's just 1%, you're getting 50 leads from that. The cost per lead is about $32. So it's pretty close to what you would receive from maybe a cost per lead on Google or a cost per lead on Facebook or a cost per lead that doesn't exist. And out of those, if you only close 25% of them, you would have about 12 and a half new customers. Obviously, you can't have a half a customer, so it's either 12 or 13, but we're just going to keep it there because that's the way the numbers work out. And then if you're making $1,000 per customer, your total revenue would be 12,500. If you subtract out the cost of the printing, your revenue or your profit is 10,900. So we're removing that from your profit for a 6.81 ROAS. A ROAS is saying I give $1 into this marketing campaign and I receive $6.81 back. So the numbers work out really, really well for these strategies. Let's say instead of saying we got a conversion of 1 out of every 100, we only got 1 out of every 200. In that scenario, you're still making a profit of $4,650 with a ROAS of about 3x, and you're building your brand for the other 4,975 people, if I'm doing my math right, that saw the card and didn't take action at this time. So
Exactly.
you're building.
I think, Josh, we have to consider that too. So you're sending a card out. Maybe they keep it on the side. Maybe they, say, hey, we need to address this when we get back from vacation for Memorial Day or whatever it would be, Labor Day. And that might be something that you get in the future. Or maybe you're also running Facebook ads, or you're running Google ads, or you're doing some other things too, or maybe doing some on radio advertising. It's just another time that they see, hey, it's ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. I recognize the name. I got a card from them. I know they've been in business for 20 years. I know they're a reputable company with the Better Business Bureau. I've seen their Google. So it's all of that marketing, all of that coming together. Maybe a friend of yours had put a sign in their front yard. We certainly do those too. A sign in the front yard said, HVAC system installed today by ABC HVAC contractors. Just one other thing, one other arrow in the quiver to get you some marketing. I always say this, folks. We gave you a lot of information today. We're B2C, so I'm sorry, I'm B2B, right? I'm business to another business. I'm trying to sell printing, all types of printing and stickers and everything else to HVAC contractors, plumbing contractors, all kinds of companies. My dentist, we print for him just because he's a friend of mine. But if I were in the business of B2C, so from a business to an actual customer, I think EDDM is the lowest expense in order to get something into someone's door than anything. I would be doing EDDM every day, all day. I just think it's a great experience. My wife and I were on vacation this winter, and I met a dentist that was next to me, sitting around a pool, and we were at a resort. And I looked at him and I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm actually a dentist, and my wife's a dentist." And I said, "Wow, that's great." And he said, "What do you do?" And I said, I own a printing company, and we print for some dentists. A friend of mine's a dentist, and we print for other dentists all around the US, as well as a lot of other industries." And I asked him, I swear to you, I said, "What do you do to market your business?" And he said, "Have you ever heard of," and he actually said this, EDM. He missed the one D. I said, "Every door direct mail." And he said, "Yeah." I said, it's EDDM. He's like, yeah. I don't handle it, but my office manager does. I'm an actual dentist." He said, "We've been doing that for years, and it's just a great way to blanket neighborhoods around my office and to get people to come in." It's just a great. It's not the perfect. It's not the silver bullet. It's not the best place to do it, but it's certainly an inexpensive way to get your idea and your word out there to customers out in the field that might be interested.
Yeah, and that's a perfect place to close this out. At the very end of this, we have a little bit of a tracking sheet. And so again, this is beyond this training. But one of the things we recommend is setting up call tracking and form tracking and web forms and some of those things so that you can track your return on investment if that's something that's important to you. And so in this sheet, we would look at what routes we've sent, what send date we did, how many phone calls we received, how many web forms we received, how many applications or closings we received, the total revenue, so we can calculate our return on ad spend on these things. You could take this, or you could have an office manager take this and turn it into a KPI sheet or something like that if you're doing those kinds of things. But ultimately, we want to measure our results. We want to measure and track these things. We want to see how often we're sending to different routes and how effective what we're sending to those routes are. So we might have some routes that are outliers that we get a lot of business from because all of the homes were built about 20 years ago, and the HVAC systems or the furnaces are all 20 years old, and we know that they need to be replaced because it was built by a builder in that neighborhood during that time. And those would be some really great routes to look at, and that might even be a great message to put on the card. I used to live in a neighborhood here in Michigan where every single house almost looked the same, and they were all built in 1983. And right around the time that I was living there, tons of people were getting furnaces replaced because it was the time for them to get furnaces replaced. So knowing that information and knowing what builders were in there could give you a really great leg up to know who's going to need you guys and who's not, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One of the things we often ask the customer is, where have you been installing new HVAC units? Pull out last year's invoices. And then let's go into the postal website and blanket those neighborhoods, because you know those neighborhoods are probably a 20 or a 30-year-old neighborhood that they probably need that. Last, I'll just finish. This isn't as just one idea. One thing, we had a roof put on our house, and I actually had a conversation with the roofing company that put it on, and I said, "You're not going to put a sign in our front yard saying that you just put a roof on our house, so all our neighbors knew that we have a new roof, number one, and that we are happy with our roof. And my wife knows all the neighbors, and we walk the dogs, and we see everybody. And how is that company and all that?" So I love the Coroplast sign in the front yard. If you guys are doing HVAC units and you're out there for a day or two, put that out there. Last but not least, if you're not putting a sticker on every air handler you're out there, I'll tell you a great story. I had a rental unit. My renter called me. It was probably 2 miles from my office. He said that the HVAC wasn't working. I went over to the house. Of course, I knock on the door. We flip around the unit. It's not coming on. I open that door where the unit is, and darn it, if there wasn't a sticker that said Economy Plumbing and Heating, I looked at my tenant and I said, "Well, I guess we call that guy, right?" And he obviously has been here. He put a sticker on our air handler. What a very inexpensive way to get the word out there that you've been in that house every time you're in that house, and we can do it. These are custom as well. We can put your logo at the top, and then put the last time we were there and what the service tech was and what happened, or any notes you have in there. These are very inexpensive. I think 1,000 of these is $200. A couple other things we do. Sorry we missed you. A lot of times your tech goes out there, and of course, Mrs. Jones said, "Oh, they never showed up. They weren't here." Well, at least leave something on the door that has your company name, your phone number. It has the time you were there, that we missed you for a service call or equipment or whatever it would be. It's just a great way if you do miss them. Maybe the tech's only a mile away, and Mrs. Jones just got home and she calls back. The tech can put his personal phone number in here too. "Hey, give me a call. I'm going to be in the neighborhood." That way you don't miss that. You don't have to go out the next day. And then another one we do, and you just put this on the other side. We just helped your neighbor with a little information about you. A lot of people use these as they call it, a clover or a 4-round or a 5-round. Leave these on the doors, or have your techs leave these. If it's like a townhouse neighborhood inside of the city, you leave these on the neighbors' houses. Let them know that you've been in the neighborhood and you're doing HVAC work in the neighborhood. Just a couple other ideas that we do here at American Business Forums. We print all this stuff in the house. As I said, we're a family business. My brother and I have been running the company for 20 years. If we can help you out in any way, certainly give us a call. Our phone number, you've probably seen it throughout the whole thing here, but it's 800-519-3691. We're open a long time. We're open 6:30 in the morning, every morning, Eastern Standard Time, and we don't close till 7:30 at night. We have a lot of customers on the West Coast as well. So we're open a little over about 13 hours a day, every day. We'd love to help you out if we can.
Awesome. On that, thank you so much. And we appreciate you guys spending your time with us today. We're going to go ahead and get this published in a few different places. So if you're watching it on YouTube, give us a call. If you're watching it on our website, click on the form below. Give us a follow on social media and let us know what you thought. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, guys.